Everyone, Philip from BlackBull Markets here. Update on AUD JPY. This is the daily time frame. We'll go down a couple of time frames as well, trying to break a few things down. We've got a couple of analysis in here that we can have a look at, focusing on the technical side of things. So we mainly, what I'll be focusing on this video, I will be just focusing on this leg to the upside. I have a couple of looks to see what's going on and see if we can break it down and try and figure out what's going to happen next and what's coming up next. So the first thing I kind of spotted in this was this looked like it was kind of moving up into a nice little channel. I'll try and draw it as straight as I can on the side so you can see it's moving inside this channel. We had a couple of rejections here. We're also seeing that it's sitting here on a nice support as well. So that's kind of the first thing that popped out to me when I saw this move to the upside. Now the second thing that I started seeing was it does look like we're seeing a nice Elliott Wave count inside here. We've got our waves 1 on this side up over here, wave 2. Now we see the second wave was a nice sort of a sharp correction to the downside, and now obviously we're expecting wave 4 to be the opposite of that. So we're seeing a potential wave 3 finishing over here. Now we're seeing this sort of sideways correction, which could potentially be our wave 4 before we start pushing that to the upside. Now, looking at this difference between waves 1 and wave 3, we can see that wave 3 was fairly quite long, so we expect if this fifth wave does push up to the same length as our wave 1. Now, looking a bit more in depth at the sort of fourth wave structure to try and figure out what that is. Now, like I mentioned, we are sitting on that channel, so that's sort of a nice indication as well that we could potentially pop up. Now, moving a bit to our lower term time frames, we can see it is quite messy, so I try to figure out to see what we're looking at here. We do see some very nice rejection of this sort of support we've had previously. We did see this bit of a fake breakout over here, but however we saw playing out here as nice supports. Now we're seeing that rejection on that side. And we also, what we see as well is a nice sort of triangle structure starting to play in here as well. So potential break of this. Now keep in mind, when these do break, we need to always keep in mind of the internal support / resistance zone. So if it does break to the upside, obviously we could get stuck right on here on these zones, and then obviously we had that nice little double top that it could get stuck on as well, trying to push it to the downside. Now so we've got these couple of options, the other to the upper to the downside. However, if it does break down, we need to really look at our Elliott Wave counts. But our technical analysis, so normal technical analysis, we could look for potential levels. I've got it here around the 79 mark, a nice psychological level. And obviously when we go below there, we can see we are starting to hit some sort of traffic. But to the downside, we do see a nice sort of clean little traffic to the downside. However, to the upside, obviously, we've got the double top we need to break past, which I've got here roughly around about the 80, just below the 81 mark. So again, that's a nice psychological level the market stopped out. So a couple of options for that: break to the downside out of this area. If it does continue to the upside, we could see our Elliott Wave potentially finish out in this pattern, and then we could see, I'll quickly have it here for you guys, we could see waves 1, waves 2, wave 3, wave 4, and then wave 5 finish up there, and then obviously coming to the downside to finish that cycle. So a couple of options. Hopefully we can play it out to the top side. If not, do look for the downside to our support / resistance zone. So stay tuned, trade safe.